What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Duran with another video, and in this video we'll be talking about why I think Tyrell Terry should be the Boston Celtics selection in the 2020 NBA draft coming up next month. Now, Tyrell Terry is one of the NBA draft's most intriguing prospects. Weighing in at just 160 pounds, 6'2", Terry was easily the lightest player in this class. And I say easily because Tyrell Terry's agent dropped a video showing Terry apparently putting on 20 pounds and growing an inch at 6'3". Even with this video, I'd rather just wait on the official numbers. Terry is a 40% three-point shooter with extended range beyond the three-point line. Terry has a good handle and has shown flashes of understanding how to run a half-court offense. Contrary to most people's belief, the most pressing need, in my opinion, for the Boston Celtics is three-point shooting. The Celtics have a ton of shot creators and playmakers, but no real three-point specialists that can stretch the floor. I think Terry would make a great addition to the Celtics rotation. The Celtics need a guy that can, at the very minimum, knock down an open corner three and not be suspect. I feel like the Celtics depended too much on Semi Ojeleye and Brad Wanamaker to be those guys, and that's just not who those players are or will ever be. Terry also is a point guard the Celtics can groom for the future, with Kemba Walker starting to enter his 30s. Terry is a clear upgrade over free agent Brad Wanamaker and offers explosive playmaking when called upon. My only concern is Terry's lack of size, because if you know Brad Stevens, he's a defensive-minded coach. Terry's defense still needs work, but I like that he's at very least a willing defender and has active hands getting into passing lanes. I view Terry in this Celtics offense and in this roster as a spark plug player for Boston's rotation, who isn't lacking in scoring but just specific role players. Being in a role and focusing on just a few things should help Terry's transition to the NBA than it would throwing him into a starting role. Most people think the Celtics need a big. The Celtics do need a big. They do need another player that provides size, paint protection, rim protection, guys that can match up with Bam and Embiid and the other bigs within the East, including Giannis. But what the Celtics really need to focus on is complementing their cornerstone players and their playmakers and these players around them, and need to take off minutes and take off a lot of the scoring burden away from Marcus Smart, who just doesn't have the IQ or shot selection, as I would say. If you're going to rely too much on Marcus Smart on your offense, it just gets you in trouble. Marcus Smart is a good player. I don't want to see him lead the team. But if it's going to continue with Marcus Smart taking bad shots and putting the team in bad positions, you're going to have no choice but to move that player if you're going to rely on him for solid scoring off the bench. I feel like Tyrell Terry spreads the floor. He gives relief and a security blanket for players like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who are driving into crowded paints. These players need other players that they can kick the ball to and rely on and punish defenses that are coming down and just crowding the paint on these players. And even if you were to say Tyrell Terry's too small and he can't play in the league, you're not asking Terry to do much. You're not asking him to drive to the lane. You're not asking him in Boston's offense and Boston's team. You're not asking him to run the offense and to do all these different things and to make the right passes. You're just asking him to sit in the corner and shoot a three-pointer. You're asking him to spread the floor. You're asking him to come up court, pass the ball, get the ball to the best players, and that's it. The player that's picked at 14 for Boston is not going to be asked to do many things. He's not going to be asked to come up the court and set up the plays and run ISO. No, they're going to maybe take 3 or 4 dribbles, and then you're going to give it to Jason Tatum, and then you're just going to sit in the corner and wait for him to kick it out to you if he gets doubled. That's all the player that's picked at 14 for the Boston Celtics, or picked at whatever if they trade up, is going to be asked to do. He's not going to be asked to do much. And I think that if you put Tyrell Terry in a role, it will help his transition in the NBA become better. I feel like Tyrell Terry, if you put him in a spot where he'll be asked to run point, where he'll be asked to set up offense, where he'll be asked to do all these things and defend the other players' best point guards and the better point guards in the league, I think that his development will actually slow down a bit, because he will develop bad habits and he will start to rush things and do things a little bit different that we see that younger players in the league are just not ready for. And I feel like Tyrell Terry right now as a role player will do wonders for his development. wonders for his development, because behind Kemba Walker, the Celtics really don't have a second point guard. They don't. People would say Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is fine. He's good, but I feel like Marcus Smart is more of a two guard at this point. Marcus Smart is a good passer, but Marcus Smart doesn't necessarily make the right plays that you need. His name is, to quote, smart. He doesn't necessarily make all of the smart plays that you would like from a player in that position. So with the Boston Celtics at the number 14 pick, I really do feel like Tyrell Terry could be the best fit for them and the player that they should choose. Tyrell Terry has an immense ceiling. He's a dynamic player. He's a player that's very reliable from the three-point line, and he's a player that can dribble, drive, and shoot. Not things that you're necessarily going to ask of him, but necessarily things that he can do for you. Things that if you need them, if you decide so well choose to give him more leeway, these are things that he are capable of doing. Well guys, this is my video. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.